Good morning, everyone. Ricardo Wilkins here, CSM from Microsoft Modern Work. Nice to see you again on our weekly C.U.T.E for Teams webinar, Champions Using Teams Effectively. I'm your host, Ricardo. As always, we have the lovely Stacy behind the scenes. And today, yes. And today we also have a special guest. We have Brianna Livingston from the Microsoft stores behind the scenes here to talk to us about the stores and training. Hi, Brianna.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm going to get her on the screen here for a sec, but before I do, just once again reminding everyone, if this is your first time attending or first time viewing, we're here really to just geek out on Teams on a weekly basis, and really this is office hours, so it's really about you come in and pop in questions in the Q&A to your left or right. I can't remember which side it is for you, but put questions in Q&A at any time. That's what this is all about, is really answering questions that you may have. This is a place you can come in weekly to get questions answered. So even though we're going to talk about the stores and training today, feel free to ask training related questions or questions on what we talk about, but also any questions. So that's what we're here today to do. So that should be on your left or right as usual. And I will introduce Brianna here. So Brianna, how are you doing today? You're on mute.
Typical rookie mistake. But I'm good. I had a little bit of a busy morning, but I'm here, and I wish it was a little sunnier today, but.
I know, that's right. Yeah. I definitely appreciate you coming on today. So I had asked the store reps that I work with if they could come on, because as we'll talk about, the benefit of the stores being able to provide training for customers has just been huge for my customers and my peer CSMs like Stacy. I think we've all had great experiences with the store, and customers have had great experience. We'll get into it, but you'll kind of see if you're not aware of this benefit, you'll kind of see what you've been missing, or at least what's available to you. So I thought it would be just interesting to kind of have this conversation, and and again, if you got any questions as we go along, feel free to put them in the Q&A. But Brianna, maybe we can start by you kind of telling us in a nutshell, how would you describe the services that the stores offer to our customers? How would you describe that? Mute again.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm used to hosting the event, so I'm usually always off mute. But definitely, the stores where we come into play is really with the support. We're more post-sale support, especially with the training. And really our goal is to help you drive adoption towards the solutions that you have implemented. So a lot of times we'll have customers, they are looking to implement maybe it's Teams, or it could be any of our products because they're looking to solve a certain problem, and they really need help getting their organization to adopt these new things. And part of the things that hold people back from that is not knowing how to use the product. So we have a catalog of training that we offer to help your organization feel more comfortable with our products. They're kind of like you can think of them like a classroom setting, but they're live events, but we host these trainings as many as you need. We come up with a strategy for maybe even a training regimen, what order you want things to go in, and then we help you set that up and launch that across your organization. So we have long-term regimens where we have customers we've been training since the pandemic started, and we're just making our way through the products, or we have customers as they implement things. That's where we step in and we help them push that. So we're a part of the journey, or the digital transformation journey of our customers.
Yeah. And as you were talking, I was just bringing up the PDF of the catalog of some the trainings that you offer, and there is a ton of good stuff in here. I see a lot of Teams.
I believe we've even updated that catalog as well.
Okay.
So We're now including accessibility, and we also cover GCC, so government tenants. So we have I'm in Columbus, Ohio, which is our state capital. So we have lots of government customers. So we can cover government specifics as well.
Right. Yeah, so it sounds like good stuff. Now, if something is not necessarily in that catalog that somebody's looking for, or they got a particular kind of thing they have a need for, I mean, what can you do there? I mean, can you tweak things if needed?
Yeah, so now there's of course a scope that we have to stay in for just making sure that we don't overextend some things we can't deliver, because sometimes Microsoft really wants us to stick to a certain, mostly M365. Now, for example, Power BI, the agendas and the curriculum that they provide is only on the web app, but we do have team members that have the depth of knowledge for the desktop app. So sometimes we will go out of our way to create custom agendas or curriculums to serve what the customer is looking to accomplish, as long as it's within our scope. Also, like, for example, you have some of those other one-off apps and teams like Shifts that there isn't a whole lot of information about them, but we use those every day. So we will, a lot of times, we can train on them. We have the knowledge. So as long as we feel that the knowledge is within our bank, we will help put together a curriculum and an agenda to follow, and then we'll go through that process and try to still deliver that to you.
Yeah. What classes have you seen to be the most popular these days, or most requested?
Definitely Teams is like all-time high request, because Teams is so robust. New features constantly being added. There's so much to learn about it. And then after Teams, I would say SharePoint. I'm getting a lot of SharePoint, and the Power Platform. Those are probably the most. And then in between that, we will get the Teams specific apps like Planner, Forms, those type of things, but it's very Teams heavy, platform heavy, Power Platform heavy, and a little bit of SharePoint. A lot of our SharePoint is our government customers. And then a lot of our Power Platform are my retail customers. So that's kind of where our three kind of arcs.
Yeah. So how small or big are these trainings? I mean, is this like 20 people or 20,000 people or what?
So we don't have a limit. We don't, because especially with live events, because the team's capacity is 20,000 right now. I know that that's something that I think are doing because of the pandemic, but the capacity's there, 10, 20,000 people. However, what I find to be the most effective strategy is, because a lot of times we'll send customers this catalog and they're like, okay, we want everything. Where do we sign up for everything? What I would say the strategy to take is to figure out what problem you want to solve and figure out the target audience for that problem. So a healthy size for us is about 40 people. But with our government accounts, we typically can see anywhere from 1,600 to 2,000 people. And the same with our health and life science customers. So healthcare, medical facilities, we see larger audiences. So it really depends on how big of a problem, how big is your target audience for the problem that you're trying to solve. But there really is no capacity for that. Now, if you opt to do a regular Teams meeting because you're looking for a more intimate setting where people can come off mute, ask questions, maybe more of like a workshop type of setting, we do, of course, have some limitations and may have to spread it out over more sessions, but there's not really a limit to how many customers we can or users we can address at one time.
And pre-pandemic, though, you were going on site, or I mean, it was
I had to travel.
Yeah.
A lot. I had to drive to my customers, or drive pretty far. No, I stayed within my region. I wasn't flying a whole lot, but Dayton, Cincinnati, like those areas, I did have to go there in person.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the stores training, and Stacy, certainly if you've gotten some experience there too, feel free to chime in, but it has just really been helpful to be able to tell customers, like, from a training perspective, we got you covered. Like if that's your only problem is getting training, at least in my case, the stores has delivered, and then some. I've just been pleasantly surprised. And I guess, Brianna, have you seen pretty good response from customers to this training? I think the ones I know that we have been together on, it seems like the customer's super appreciative at the end. And I know you do surveys and whatnot afterwards as well, as getting pretty good results.
Yeah. So for us, the trainings definitely, a lot of our customers really rely on us, as even sometimes, like, for example, I have a retail customer, they're training for their new hires, like, because right now Teams is the biggest, new obstacle for a new employee, because in the past you would start a job, you didn't have to worry about learning some whole new platform just to do your work. So we have companies that specifically rely on us just as a rotation for their new hires. So we definitely have received a really positive response from it. And to make it better, it's free. So like, they don't have to pay any extra cost to adopt this training regimen or get the help that they need or the support. They just simply have to reach us, and then we are able to help them come up with what strategy they need to drive the solution.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm finding the same thing, Ricardo. Some of my customers have large professional development offices, and those professional development offices are often busy building mandatory training just around their own processes and procedures. And when you throw a new platform at them, they go, "Oh, okay, what documentation does Microsoft have?" And then they're almost rebuilding with their own letterhead stuff that we provide to the world. When we can come in and give them that instructor-led training, that's such an added value. And what you guys do every day, Brianna, for our customers is just tremendous. And the more customers know about it, the more busier you're going to get. And so I love that we're having this session, because it's really something that, as a customer success manager, I see as a win-win, right? Our customers own our products. We want them to be able to take full advantage of them. We want them to have their end users be excited about using our tools and self-sufficient in using our tools. So IT is happy because we're answering some of those frontline questions for fundamentally how we expect folks to interact with our tools. And the professional development offices are excited because they are able to perhaps just come alongside and identify those champions, and then we can go and really help them scale with all of the other demands that they are trying to meet when it comes to professional development. It's also key for our agencies that may be a little smaller, who don't have a dedicated professional development department, the ones that are really having to figure it out on their own. Having our agendas and our objectives defined, that is clearly an asset for having them understand even what is in these tools and these training sessions. I also love working with the customer success training program because you guys are so willing, especially with the government customers, to understand what boundaries that they have put within their tenants and make sure that the delivery of the content is relevant to their users today with what's accessible to them.
And that's a huge part of the strategy as well. That's why we have a little bit more of a hands-on value, because we're not running like trainings in mass where you just sign up on Microsoft.com and that's kind of like how our community workshops are, but we really, really do take the time to curate exactly what your solution looks like. So I'm glad that you mentioned, some of the specific obstacles. GCC has a lot of different limitations compared to a regular, consumer tenant or general tenant. And you have to be aware of those because every single department is different. Like, there's no standard, just like this is our rule. I have some departments that it is all standard, and then Bureau of Workers Comp might have a certain feature that the next one does not allow. So it's really important that we are able to actually curate your perfect strategy, because when we do deliver the trainings, what happens when we don't do that is we truly misidentify our target audience. So understanding exactly what your opportunities are within your business and what problems you're trying to solve helps us understand who needs to be in the room for the training. Otherwise, and this is just something that I have known from experience from the very beginning of this pandemic and us rolling out this program, is that when you don't take that time and that care, you can miss your target audience, and then you lose a little bit of the momentum for adoption, because the value may not have come across to them because they were the wrong audience for that particular solution that we were trying to drive. So that's why it's important that we do take that time to understand your unique problems or goals.
That's huge. I mean, I know I feel like my customers have definitely been appreciative of training coming in with the government nuances in mind. I mean, we hear often, even when they're going online to get the info, there's not always government specific stuff out there. As part of why, for instance, on the tech community, we have the public sector blog, and some of the articles I've written there and others, it is specific to government. And I think our customers appreciate, when we understand those nuances. So certainly being able to tailor them to the GCC has been real helpful there.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. I mean, is there anything else about the stores you think people should know? Or, I mean, certainly, I think any customer out there with the CSM, I mean, that'd be your first stop in terms of engaging this offering. Talk to your CSM, and they can hook you up with your local or regional hub for getting that going. Anything else people should know about the service you can think of?
So we do provide community events. Now, this is not necessarily like a business solution, but just a general community solution, which, because it's a part of Microsoft's commitment to empower, everyone. So we do also hold community events. You can always go to Microsoft.com/Columbus, and we hold events for children as well. If you want to get your kids in some coding classes or anything like that, they're definitely more kid-friendly coding. They're not anything too rigorous. If you've ever heard of Make Code or Make Code Arcade, I think is what it's called, but it's in that environment. We also do those one-off, Excel trainings, now those are going to be more broad in general, but if you have one employee that keeps asking you about Excel training, then maybe send them to some of our workshops. We haven't had any as of right now, but we'll start scheduling them again soon. But if you have one employee that keeps asking about OneDrive, those one-offs where you don't see a need for an entire training regimen, we do offer general trainings to the public that are also, at no cost. You can sign up for those. And it doesn't even have to be our store. If you just go to Microsoft.com and look at events, we also have a global events team that does events that aren't in any specific region. They address anything global, just all over. So you can sign up for those. The majority of the other things we do in the store do focus on SMB and education. So that's a little bit outside of what I do, but we do at least have that community piece as well that you can look for.
Yeah, awesome. What I heard you say is people can send their problem staff to the Microsoft stores and you'll keep them busy.
Essentially, that's what we did in stores too. We had a huge theater. We even allow businesses at the time to not rent because we're not allowed to charge for it, but utilize our theater space. Mm-hmm. Even if they needed to pitch a business idea, it's really just about supporting business in general. And it was really cool. We held Girl Scouts workshops back there, all kinds of things, Minecraft parties. I truly do miss the stores, but we're trying to offer as much as that still virtually as we can.
Yeah, I did take my daughter to the Minecraft Mondays back
yes. Then. We had an annual Minecraft party every year at the store.
Nice. Well, Brianna, we appreciate you taking time out to talk to us today. I think we learned some good stuff, and I don't see any questions in the Q&A, but that's cool. So hopefully, all you folks out there either live today or watching on demand, hopefully you can get something out of this. Again, reach out to your CSM if you need help, and then as Brianna mentioned, or just hit Microsoft.com and get the info you need. But
Absolutely.
we hope this was helpful. Yeah. Thanks, Brianna.
You're so welcome, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, we're pretty close to time. No questions there. I feel like that's a nice, comfortable stopping point there. So again, this will be every week. We'll have a new topic next week, and certainly also, again, come here with just any question you have. I will hang out a few. We'll hang out a few minutes. Check Q&A if you think of any lingering question at the last minute. But otherwise, we hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next week. aka.ms/CUTE4Teams. All right. Have a good Friday.